Hi. There was something else I was going to talk about earlier today, and I had just talked so much that I didn't have a chance to talk about this, or I had forgot is what it was. But I heard on the news this morning that in Iowa Hill, California, it's a small town of about 200 residents, that they are getting phone service for the first time ever in Iowa Hills, California. They said it's a small town of like 200 people, and that out of the 200 people, that only I think 56 people signed up for the phone service. Now, phone service has been around, I think, excuse me, since the 1930s, but this is the first time that this town is getting phone service. They said that they weren't anxious for the town to change. Um, I think they said they've got one store in that town, and it's run off a generator. So this makes you wonder, do the residents even have electricity? If the only store is run off a generator, then none of that makes much sense. But so I looked up on Iowa Hill. It was destroyed. The whole town was destroyed by fire in 1857, again in 1862, and again in 1920. So that's three different times that town has been destroyed by fire. Could it be by kerosene lamps, the fire to keep warm by in their homes? It seems like this town definitely needs a definite update. And so that leads me to wonder, if 56 people out of this town of 200 people signed up for phone service, are they just going to be calling each other? Because they must not know anybody else. But that's kind of an interesting story. That'd be interesting to think that people still live that way. I mean, I guess it's all right for them. That's what they like. But for us, with all the modern technology and the computers and the cell phones, and you know, even now, phone service, basically home phone service is outdated. Everybody's got cell phones now. So, and that's funny because they're getting home phones at the time home phones out here are being outdated. But anyway, it made me think about that when I was at the place this morning getting tires put on my Jeep, because I was sitting there in the waiting area waiting, and the man had came in from the garage, and when he came in, the phone was right there at him, and it rang. And so he just sort of put his hand right there on the phone and stood there like this until the phone completed the second ring, and then he picked it up. That's odd. Why didn't he just pick it up and, get on about business? I remember when I was little, I was always told that etiquette said that you should wait until after the second ring completes before you pick it up, because you don't want to make it appear that you're too anxious to answer the phone. Come on now, when my phone rings, as soon as I can answer it, I'm going to answer it. I always have. I never waited for the second ring. That was bizarre, and especially at this place, because this was a place of business. That man should have answered that phone instead of just standing there looking around. I mean, I looked at Jerry. I said, what's he doing? He's waiting for the second ring. So it's kind of bizarre. But Iowa Hill is now getting phone service. A small town of 200 people. I know the town that I grew up in was a small town, but not nearly as small as Iowa Hill. Iowa Hill sounds like it'd be kind of like a little house on the prairie. It's like this though, if they're just not getting phone service, and it's doubtful that they have electricity because their one store is run off a generator, do they have indoor plumbing? That's an interesting scenario. And on that note, I'll say until next time. Bye bye.